Hello and welcome to the Dutchin channel. It's Monday, 22nd of April 2024. It's just gone 8:45 in the morning. Before we start anything today, I've got an apology to make for yesterday. I was sitting by the patio. It was a warm day. The sun was coming through really warm and sent me to sleep. And that was the end of the betting for the day. So I didn't manage to have a bet at all. And today I'm a lack of meetings because they take a while to do. And all I've managed to get done is the flat racing today. So there'll be no jumps. But I have got the meetings from Pontefract and Windsor. And tomorrow, again, there's a load of meetings tomorrow, but I've managed to start at the moment. I'm about halfway doing the flat meetings for Tuesday. So they will be all okay. I'm not going to fall asleep today anyway because the weather's no good. You know how inconsistent it is in the UK. Right, so we'll start with our main meeting, which will be Pontefract. And most of these meetings have all got 8 races in them as well. And in the 152, you can see that I won't be betting in a race like this, but there is an on-runner anyway now, and that's far above the law, which was our second selection. But of course, that was only second selection because of the lack of runners that, I've seen a race course. So we'll take that one out. And I'm not going to put any selections up for that race because, yeah, we've got 2 there, but it's just, you've got so many runners that have not seen the race course there. You've got 9, and anything could come out the pack. We've seen it many a time this happen. But if you was to say, oh, I need to have a bet in it, then theatrically, with the points ratings that I give, is most probably your best one out of the 2. Let's have a look into Matchbook because we're going there to use the exchange anyway today. And we'll start with Pontefract. And you'll see that theatrically at the moment is 3.2. So if you did want to get involved with that, the stakes that come up next to it are always rounded to £100 win if I maximally can. But I'm going to be a little bit different today. I'm just going to put up the selections for how many places there are, but I'm not going to put law degree up, just theatrically. If I was having a bet myself, that's the one that I would basically do. Right, we're moving now into the second race. This would be a betting race because there's form all around here. And in this race, there will be 3 places if you're betting each way terms with the bookmaker. So we're going to the 222 on Matchbook. And we'll see that macaron, maybe not pronounced like that, but it will be for now. £18, 18 pence would return you £100. DC Flyer would be my second, and this would be 13.5. And again, if you wanted to get £100 back, it would be a £7.41 layout for that. And Casanos Lad, which is our third selection there, is 5 on Matchbook, and £20 would return £100. Now don't take much notice of that down the bottom there because I'm not rounding it up to £50 today. I'm just doing the amount of selections that will be paid by the bookmaker. So macaroni perhaps, DC Flyer and Casanas Lad. They're the three for the 222 at Pontefract. Then we'll stay with the whole card here anyway. The 252 is going to be our next bet. No non-runners as yet. And Thundering will be our number one here, which is one of the outsiders at 22. So stakes of £4.55 would return you £100. And our second selection here is Bolster. And Bolster is 8.2. And stakes of £12.20 would return £100. And our third selection is Lord Protector. And Lord Protector is currently at 34. So stakes of £2.94 would return you £100. And of course, if you wanted to do all three of those, then £19.68 would be rounded up figure there. But you are on a few outsiders. Into race 4 at Pontefract. This is the 322. And Perseverance is the favourite here at 2.96. It is our number one selection. And stakes of £33.78 would return £100. Our second selection would be Dandy's Angel, which is currently the outsider there at 25. And £4 on this would return you £100. And Golden Melody would be our third selection, and that is currently 8.6. And £11.63 would return you £100. And again, if you wanted to, you could back all three of those for even money there to return 100. And we'll go into the 355. 9 go to the post here. Let's see if they all go. Yeah, they do at the moment. And our top selection here would be Highfield Viking. This currently is trading at 6 on Matchbook. £16.67 would return you £100. Our second selection is Harswell Duke. This is currently 9.2. And stakes of £10.87 would return you £100. And our third selection is Mount King, and this is currently 12. And stakes of £8.33 would return you £100. And again, if you wanted to back all three of those to return 100, you would need to be laying out £35.87. Moving on to the next race at Pontefract. This is the 425. Weird, isn't it? Look, they've gone from 15:55 to 5 o'clock. I wonder if anything's just update that. That hasn't come up. It's very odd, that. Yeah, well, a 425 is there. It's prize money. It's not a charity race. And I wonder why it doesn't seem to be in their betting. Just again have a quick look. Let's go in this way and see if we can find the 425. See, it's totally missing. I haven't got a clue why. Very odd. Right, so we'll come back to that race at some point. Never seen that before. Rightio, so we'll come back to that race. And into the 5 o'clock, this is another one of those races where we've got a 2 unraced at the bottom there, Diesgel and Mostar Dreams. So this will be a no betting race for us, but what we will do, we will cross over into the 5 o'clock and we'll have a look at the prices here. Our top selection is Namos at 11.5. And if you wanted to bet on that, it would be £8.70 to return £100. And our second selection is Thursday's Child. Thursday's Child currently at 7.2. Stakes of 13.89 would return £100. And Heart Warmer would be our third selection. And this is quite short. This is 2.44. And again, £40.98 would return you £100. This is a no betting race because of these unraced juveniles at the bottom that could throw up anything. And oh no, I don't think they will. Then there's your bet. But I try to narrow it down and not bet in every single race if I can. So that will be the 5 o'clock at Pontefract. They're moving into their last race there. We've got a 9-horse field, and we'll have a look here at, well, at least they've got the betting on there for this race. And there is a non-runner here, and that is Huddle Up, which would have been my 6th selection. So we'll delete that from our list. Now that will become an 8-runner race. Right, so our top selection here is Alafdal. And Alafdal, that's currently 11. Then we've got Trilby, which is the favourite here at 3.75. And as it stands, there's 3 places. And our third would be Hardy Angel at 16.5. So they would be our 3 selections. But our top one would be Alafdal. And again, if you wanted to, you could lay out 41.82 and try and get one of those 3 home to return £100. So that is the Pontefract card. And just before we come out of this, just in case it's appeared quickly, which it hasn't, we're now going to go on to our second meeting of the day, which is going to be Windsor. I went there a long time ago. Nice track there. It was a nice harvester nearby as well. It was quite a nice evening. Right, so the 410 here, I've got 9 going to post here, and Conquistador 1, so that's been pulled out of this race. I think it was yesterday or the day before, one of those 2. Mama Yaz is our top selection for the 410 at Windsor. This is currently trading at 5.8. Stakes of 17.24 would return you £100. Northcliffe is second, and this is currently 6.2. £16.13 would return you £100. And Libra Tiger, that's trading at 7. And stakes of £14.29 would return you £100. So that's our top 3 selections in the 410 at Windsor. We're now moving into the 4:45 where we've got 9 going to post. So if they're all running, yeah, they are. And our top selection for this race is Gathanfar, something like that anyway, and 6.4 is the price at the moment, and £15.63 would return you £100. Our second selection is On Edge. This is currently trading at 7.6. Stakes of £13.16 would return you £100. And our third selection is the Cola Kid, and this is currently 12, and stakes of £8.33 would return you £100. And if you wanted all three, £37.12 would return you £100 if one of those three was to win. Then we're going to go into the Windsor 520. There's only one with any form. It's not great form, so I'm going to bypass this race, but the other 8 are all juveniles that haven't seen a race course, so it's just going to be a no betting race for me. Then we'll go down to the 550 at Windsor. Now this is my best bet of the day, but it doesn't add up to much because it already is odds on. And you can see it's 1.53, so if you fancied that today, that would be the top selection. I've made it 1.55, so I'm very close there. And you would need to put £65.36 on that to return £100. I will come up with a second and a third here. Castle in the Sand, 325 would be the second in there. You would need £30.77 if you were going to back that one to win. And our third selection would be Grey Owl, and this is 75 and would require £1.33 to return £100. Well, you can see at the bottom here, if one of those three was to win and you'd done them all, it would be a stake of £97.46 to win £2.54, so we know that isn't worth doing at all. So unless you fancy Dare a Mile, that is the top selection of the day. Then moving into the 620, we've got an 11 horse race here, which is another one of our handicaps that we do like betting in. And yeah, Lusaka is our top one. This is currently trading at 22. And I do have a lot of outsiders if you're following this for the first time. £4.55 would return you £100. The second selection I've got is Insanity. That's currently 7.4. Stakes of £13.51 would return you £100. And our third selection is Composite, which is 4.3. That's currently favourite. And stakes of £23.26 would return you £100. And if you wanted to do all three, £41.31 would return you £100 if one of those three was to win. Then we're going to move on to the 650. And the 650 here, we've got Cock and Bull, and Cock and Bull happens to be the favourite at 2.6. £38.46 would return you £100. And we're only doing 2 selections in this. And our second selection there is currently 8.2. That's continuous. And £12.20 would be needed there to return £100. Or if you wanted to back them both, it would cost you £50.66 for that £100 return for those two. Into the penultimate race here, 12 horses go to post. They did until I click on it. Let's have a look. Yeah. So our number one selection here is Auric, and Auric is the favourite. This is currently 2.84. And the stakes of £35.21 would return you £100. And our second selection is Land of Magic. Land of Magic, this is currently 26, and stakes of £3.85 would return you £100. And our third selection is Shelbourne, and Shelbourne is currently 7.2. And stakes of £13.89 there would return you £100. If you wanted to bet all three of them, £52.95 would return you £100 if one of those three was to win. And then the final race, this is the 750, and they're all running at the moment. Our top selection here is Palazzo Persico, and that is second favourite. That's trading at 5. So stakes of £20 would return you £100. Then I've got Make a Scene, which is 30, and stakes of £3.33 would return £100. And the fourth selection is Hatadora, which is the favourite at 4.8. So stakes of £20.83 would return you £100. So they are the selections at Pontefract and Windsor. We do need to go back to this 425, as it's now gone 9 o'clock in the morning. I'm wondering whether they would have updated it. We'll soon find out. No is the answer. Let's see if I can find it in order here. Really don't know why that there's no betting on that. I know I can go into another site and do it, but I'd rather leave it empty for now. See that we got that gap there, 1620 to 1630. Just give it one more try, and then I'll leave that. Right, so yeah, nothing's there. So we're going to go back into the races today. I'm just going to do a recap on what we've done. I will take the price off of this one because it does. I know it can win. I know that. But when you've got all these other horses that haven't run, it's not a selection that I would give. Right, in the 222 at Pontefract, Macaroni, DC Flyer, Casanos Lad. You can see the stakes towards the end. They all return £100. Everything I'm going to give out here today. The 1452 or the 252 at Pontefract. We've got Thundering, Bolster, Lord Protector. The 322 at Pontefract, Perseverance, Dandy's Angel, Golden Melody. The 355 Pontefract, Highfield Viking, Harswell Duke, Mount King. The 425 at Pontefract, even though we've got no prices there, I would go for Nay, Brickadank, and Show No Fear. The 5 o'clock, I know we've got some prices up here, but this would be a no betting race for me, because again, we haven't got a lot of form to go on. And the last race at Pontefract would be Alafdow, Trilby, and Hardy Angel. If you were thinking of betting on anything at all, if you look back at some of the previous videos that we've done, I do have a very good strike rate for first and second selections, including double price winners in the 50s, in the 60s, the 40s, the 30s. There's some big winners there. So if you were going to do some just level stakes and that, it does make sense to do those first and second in at the moment. It makes sense. Then in the 410 at Windsor, you've got Mummy Az, Northcliffe, and Libra Tiger. The 445 at Windsor, we've got Gathan Farr, On Edge, the Cola Kid. Then the 520 at Windsor is going to be a no betting race. Take your pick from that one, that's a hard one. Then in the 550 at Windsor, we've got Dare a Mile, Castle in the Sand, Grey Owl. And don't forget, the nap there today is Dare a Mile. I'll just put that in there just in case you review the video again, and then you'll see that at the top. Then in the 620, we're going to go for Lusaka, Insanity, and Composite. Then in the 650 at Windsor, we've got Cock and Ball and Continuance. In the 720, we've got Auric, Land of Magic, and Shelbourne. And in the last race at Windsor, the 750, we got Palazzo, Persico, Make a Scene, and Hatadora. So that's the selections for today. Let's hope we can start the week with a few winners. I don't know if you've been following the series, as it were, but everything has been proved from March, which we had a very, very good month. It was nearly 2,900 profit. But the last 2 days in March, that was included in that profit, but they sort of went downhill. And a lot of April has gone downhill, and I've been messing around doing different systems and value bets and all kinds of things. And we managed by Saturday to get into a profit of around £200 if you would have been doing them to £50 stakes. It's not a lot in that month so far, but it is a profit. And yesterday, as I said, that was a bit unfortunate. So these are the selections today, and let's hope we can start, as I say, the week off with a few winners. And if not, I'll see you this evening at the results show, and we will carry on. Thanks very much.